From News 19, I'm meteorologist Daniel Bonds. Here is Tropical Storm Helene, the latest advisory, the 11 a.m. advisory from the National Hurricane Center. System has winds of 45 miles per hour with gusts up to 60, moving towards the northwest at 12 miles per hour. Here is the latest forecast from the National Hurricane Center. Tropical Storm Helene generally moving towards the northwest. It's going to turn more towards the north and eventually towards the northeast, possibly becoming a major hurricane at some point this week and then making landfall, it looks like, probably late in the day on Thursday as a major hurricane somewhere along the panhandle of Florida, and then it's going to turn more towards the north and eventually more towards the north and west. It'll start interacting with land. It'll be a tropical storm at this point as it does move possibly over Georgia, and us here in South Carolina being on the right-hand side of that center of circulation will cause some issues for us here across South Carolina as well. Here is the intensity forecast for this particular storm. It's going to gain intensity, possibly becoming a Category 3 storm, but as we've been talking about with these particular systems, sometimes intensity is very hard to forecast. So it does look like it's going to get a little bit stronger as we do move through the rest of the work week. Now, as the system does move generally towards the north, eventually we're going to be in the right front quadrant of the center of circulation. So as the storm kind of rotates, we're going to be in this right front quadrant. So for us, winds, at least gusty winds, will be a factor. Possible tornadoes, that's something we'll have to watch closely. Some heavy downpours could lead to some flash flooding. If we were along the coast, surge would be an issue, but it's really going to be the winds, tornadic activity, and the possibility for some flash flooding for us here across the Midlands. So this is what you kind of need to know. As of right now, the time frame looks to be Thursday afternoon, Thursday night, into early parts of Friday. The impact, heavy downpours, severe weather, including the threat for some tornadoes and some gusty winds. And as of right now, you need to pay attention to the forecast because the forecast will evolve and change as the system kind of changes and evolves. So some slight changes in the trajectory, the strength, or anything like that could change what we would see in South Carolina. So here's kind of a wider view as our forecast model kind of sees things over the next few days. You can kind of see at least our particular forecast model shows the tropical storm interacting with the Yucatan Peninsula and then kind of turns it more towards the northeast and then back towards the northwest. It does bring a landfall right around the Big Bend area. It looks like late on Thursday, and then this would be Friday morning. You can kind of still see the center of circulation here just southeast of Atlanta as the heavy downpours and possible severe weather moves into parts of South Carolina. So a little bit of a closer look at our forecast for the next few days. For today in particular, small chance for a pop-up shower or thunderstorm, especially in the northern half of the Midlands. Tomorrow that moisture will start to increase. Small chance for rain on Wednesday, but then as we do look ahead towards Thursday, you'll see those rain bands kind of building in. This is Thursday morning, pretty quiet at that point. Latest indications are we'll have some heavier showers on Thursday. You kind of notice those things moving through. That would be 5 o'clock Thursday afternoon, and then probably a little bit of a break in the activity until we get to late Thursday night into early parts of Friday. We'll have more rain bands kind of moving on through. Heavy shower activity and possibility for some severe weather at that point. Now, once again, this could change and evolve the closer we get to Thursday and Friday. As far as tropical storm wind chances are concerned, very low for us here across the Midlands. Matter of fact, across South Carolina, the chances for tropical storm force winds pretty low at this point. The higher chances the farther you go towards the south and west in parts of Georgia, obviously, and parts of Florida. As far as rainfall is concerned, the Weather Prediction Center indicating anywhere from 2.5 inches, possibly up to 5 inches for at least parts of the Midlands, higher amounts in the upstate of South Carolina. That's where the excessive rainfall, or at least the flooding risk, is the highest in the upstate. It is pretty high here in the yellow area, so there will still be that chance for some flooding, really afternoon hours and then late Thursday into early parts of Friday, and that's going to be the case into early parts of Friday as we just mentioned. Tropical storm watches still in effect for parts of Florida. We also have the hurricane watch in effect for parts of Florida. Those will change as we do get a little bit closer to Thursday and Friday. We also have the storm surge watches in effect as well. Here are the tracks so far for the 2024 season, and as we mentioned, we do have our next system out there in Tropical Storm Helene. Activity typically starts to decrease at this point. We do expect it to continue to decrease, and that's the average, but it only takes 1 or 2 storms to make it not decrease, at least those storms. So temperatures will be decreasing a little bit today. Yesterday we did manage to make it up to 94 degrees in the capital city. Haven't had any rainfall since Wednesday the 18th. Now, it's been very dry over the past couple of weeks, so we certainly could use some of that rainfall from a tropical system, but we don't want necessarily the winds and severe weather associated with it. High temperatures later today, we'll say upper 80s to near 90 degrees, and we'll be watching the tropics closely Thursday and Friday. The weekend, though, is looking pretty good with high temperatures returning to the mid 80s on Saturday, low 80s on Sunday. The forecast for the beach, showers, thunderstorms Thursday, Friday. The weekend's looking pretty good at this point. Same thing for Charleston, looking pretty good with maybe a little bit of rain on Sunday. Upstate, Greenville, rain on Thursday and Friday, it looks like, with partly cloudy conditions on Saturday. As we do look ahead, 8 to 14 days out, slightly wetter than normal conditions across most of the southeast, including all of South Carolina. And during that same time frame, 8 to 14 days out, slightly warmer than normal conditions as well. But here is our latest named storm, Tropical Storm Helene, 11 o'clock advisory. Does have winds of 45 miles per hour, gusts up to 60. Looks like it will have at least some impact on our weather as we go Thursday and into Friday.